how's it going? I'm IlaGolden and welcome to my vlog. Alright, so today we are going to be talking about the MacTays, and I am rather looking forward to this one. There is something about the MacTays that always makes me really excited whenever I get the opportunity to write about them or mention them or whatever, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, given the nature of the MacTays and, you know, the reputation they have within the multiverse. But at the same time, the characters within the clan, both the true gods and demigods, they are vivacious, they are full of life, they are passionate, they love the arts, they love music, they love, you know, creative things, and at the same time they are the best damn warriors in the entire multiverse. You know, they don't live to fight by any stretch of the imagination, but they are proud warrior people nonetheless, and there's something about the idea that they are both fighters and lovers, both fighters and creative people, both destroyers and, you know, artists, that is just such a joy combination for me to sort of explore and to, you know, build characters around, because they are an exciting, lively clan. and despite all the things that they do that might not, you know, necessarily deem them particularly moral, they still have this love of life and this passion and this enthusiasm that is hard when you're writing for them and writing about them, even when you're trying to write from the point of view of a character that doesn't condone their behaviour and you know, their lifestyle. It's hard not to present them in this slightly positive way because there's just something about them and the fact that, you know, they have this very positive energy that they give out, that, you know, it's just a pleasure writing for them and writing about them. And in fact, sometimes it's even more of a pleasure to write from the point of view of a character who doesn't have a particularly high opinion of them, or who likes to banter with them, because they're just so much fun to do that with. They're just so enjoyable to sort of, you know, have within my multiverse. So to say that I've been looking forward to doing this one is, you know, a little bit of an understatement. So, as I've mentioned more than once now, the MacTay clan is made up of both gods and demigods, and if you watch my vlog on what the definition of a god and a demigod within the multiverse is, then you know that the gods are the ones which are the immortal ones and the demigods are the ones which are not, essentially. At least, you know, looking at it from somebody who doesn't worship the MacTays. If you worship the MacTays, they're all gods. Who knows, maybe you might end this deciding that you'd quite like to worship the MacTays. Not sure that I would. But, you know, if they were to really exist, I think they'd be a lot of fun to hang out with, you know, provided you know how to deal with them. So the true gods in the MacTay clan, well, there are 7 true gods in the MacTay clan. 6 of them are male, and 1 of them is female. Now, the original 2 MacTays, Peia and Pedra, are the sons of Frey and the higher being known as Lecta Arna, or the Lady of Life. Their shared wife, Himalaya, is the only female true god within the MacTay clan. She is immortal. No one's quite sure where she came from. She just sort of just showed up one day, and both Peia and Pedro were completely smitten by her, and for some reason came to this strange sort of compromise that it was okay for them to sort of share a wife. from her, each brother had 2 sons. Pea had Marcello and Stefan, and Pedra had Frey and Cashmana. But the order of the boys goes Marcello, Frey, Stefan, Cashmana. So Cashmana is the youngest, and probably my favourite of the true MacTays. And Marcello is the oldest. So basically, when one brother fathered, the other brother fathered, one brother fathered, the other brother fathered. So sort of ordered down a little bit like that. I don't know how they came to that decision. That's just how things ended up going for them, really. Once all of the 7 true gods of the MacTay clan were there and were born and were in existence, they were given a system within the multiverse in which to govern, which became known as the Trilax system. The Trilax system does exist in various different variations across the multiverse. But within each of those systems, they essentially are the quote-unquote gods of that system. As I said, they were given it to govern. They weren't given it for godship. They were given it just to sort of go, hey, why don't you guys have a go and see what you can do? And this is a burgeoning society that's growing up here. We don't have time to watch over everybody. You watch over this system. Be free to do what you want with it. And they did. And through that, they earned their godship because they governed well enough and were immortal. Good enough reasons to make somebody a god, right? And their sort of response to becoming gods was basically to invite some of their worshippers, some of their citizens from the various planets throughout the Trilax system to basically join their clan. Initially just as, partners for the 4 MacTay half-brothers, Marcello through to Cashmana, and then it became a lot more than that. The MacTay believe in free love very much. They are polygamous, that's the right word. So they believe in having lots of relationships with lots of people all of the time. They definitely do not. It's not that they don't believe in monogamy. They just don't see the point in monogamy when you have the capacity to love and to feel a great deal of passion for more than one person. Why restrict yourself down to just one person? That is their personal philosophy. It's not one I necessarily subscribe to. I'm all about monogamy, me, but the MacTay are not. The MacTay are very much into the idea that there shouldn't be any reason not to express yourself romantically and sexually, as long as it's consensual, as long as both parties agree upon it. It should be okay. It should be fine. And as long as everybody agrees that it's okay for you to go off and have as many lovers and whatever you want, they're very much into that. So the MacTay, the true MacTay, have a lot of children with their mortal partners, and their mortal partners also have a lot of children. The MacTay clan is huge. It is ginormous. It is, almost inconceivable just how many MacTays there actually are when you actually get down to it, and they're all worshipped as just, this huge clan entity, which is why they're so fun to talk about. They are very, as I said before, into creativity. They are into, the arts, they're into music, they're into encouraging those activities and encouraging the creation of, various forms of creative expression and whatever else. You know, they love that side of world, they love that side of life. They think there's something about it which is kind of a physical representation of emotions, or a way of interpreting emotions, and they are very emotional people. They are, all about, passion and life, for want of a better word. At the same time, they are also a warrior clan. They are also highly skilled fighters, and one thing that you gain upon joining the clan, whether you're born into it or whether you are selected to join the clan or invited to join the clan, is A, you gain an extended mortality, so you can live a little bit longer, you're a little bit tougher, and B, you become a master of all weapons. That isn't to say that you don't need to be trained, or that you can instantly pick up a weapon and know how to use it. No, they are very good on their training. They're very, they're all about the training. They're all about making sure that you know what you're doing and that you do it safely, and that you're the best because you are the best, not that you are the best because you have this natural ability. The natural predisposition to being a weapons master is more about you being able to pick up a weapon and get an easy feel for it, learn how to use it reasonably quickly and adapt to it reasonably quickly, and develop those skills reasonably quickly, but always have the ability to continue improving. Because in the same way that creativity is all about emotional expression, fighting is all about physical expression. It's all about physically improving yourself all the time. So there's this sort of parallel between their creative nature and their warrior nature, where they like to be as good as they can, or the best, and they like to push, and they like to see how far they can take it, as it were. And they're very, very passionate about both sides of their nature. But being a weapons master also gives them a small advantage in another way. This isn't something I haven't introduced yet, because I haven't really talked about the demon classes and the demon breeds yet. But demon weapons can only be used by demons under normal circumstances. The exception is the MacTay. MacTay are also able to use demon weapons, even though they do not have demon blood. This is purely because of this weapon mastery skill that they have, and for no other reason than that. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean they can pick up the weapon and be a master in that weapon right away. It means they can pick up that weapon, understand how that weapon can be used, and they can use that weapon without the weapon disappearing or disintegrating on them, which is something that happens with demon weapons, which is what I will leave it at that for now, because that does need to be looked into a bit more when I do one on demons, which I now realise I'm going to have to do one on demons. It's going to be fun. But yeah, there is just something about MacTay clan that, even though most people, don't necessarily get into the whole free love thing, or don't necessarily think, the way they do about life and about relationships, and about the way they express themselves, and they are very sexually charged beings. Sexually charged creative warrior beings. Great. But there's something about that aliveness, about that energy, about the fact that they are willing to banter, about the fact that they are willing to have a laugh and have a joke about, and they are much more relaxed than a lot of the other breeds that I deal with regularly throughout the multiverse. There's just something about them that is just so easy to like, even though you probably shouldn't like them. Depending on where your moral compass sort of lies, because yeah, they do kill people. They are warriors. They do go out and fight and kill people because that is what they have been trained to do. So yes, they've got this massive creative side to them. Yes, they've got this free love, passionate nature to them, but they are still people who will go out and kill when they need to. They will go out and they will fight when they need to. They are not afraid to defend themselves. They, in fact, are very serious about, defending themselves, and they don't ever let their guard fully down if, they're outside of their territory, if they're away from their clan. But it's hard not to like them. you can demonize them all you want, but it's hard not to like them. And I think part of that is because of my favourite MacTay, who is Kashmana. I have written Kashmana into a number of things, and he is sly, he is witty, he is he is compassionate, but on his terms. He has this very easy to like personality, even though, he's always quick with the innuendos, he's always, slightly on an ulterior motive, but he's so hard not to like. To the point where I kind of don't want to admit to his character that I like him so much. And, I think if I hadn't written Kashmana as a MacTay, and if I didn't have him as a MacTay character, I don't think I would utilise the clan very much at all. I think I'm not even sure I'd even come up with them. I'm pretty sure I created the MacTay clan for Kashmana. Purely for Kashmana. There's no other reason. But I think, sometimes that's just the way things go. You create, things because of something that has caught your attention, because of this personality that Kashmana has, and it is a personality that he's had pretty much from the beginning, that it's intoxicating to write for the MacTay clan when I get the opportunity to write for the MacTay clan, because I think they represent liveliness, they represent a way of living where you have this sort of freedom of expression and this sort of lack of ambition, is that right? Or this kind of inhibition about how you're living, where you're not concerned about what society thinks about your choices. That can be slightly intoxicating and can be very intriguing. So I think, the MacTay are one of those that, they're not for everybody. They're not going to, move particularly well with everybody's sensibilities. But they're so likeable. You can see where my conflict with them lies. So yeah, that's probably about as much as I can say about the MacTays right now. As I said, I do have a soft spot for them, and I don't know whether I should or if I shouldn't have a soft spot for them, but there's just something about them that is intoxicating when I get to write for them, and they are fun, and they are lively, and sometimes when you're a writer like me, who has a tendency towards slightly dark storylines and, dark situations and whatever else, sometimes it's nice just to have a group of characters that inject fun, and the MacTay inject fun. They know when they need to be serious, but most of the time they're just injecting fun into the story. They have their wit, they have their banter, they have their, their creative side, they have their fighting and warring side, but, they're at their very essence, they are fun characters to write for. So, why not write for them? That's what I ask myself every day. Alright. I think I need to make my next vlog about demons. Again, this was not the original intention. I hadn't actually originally decided what the next one was going to be about. But because I've just hinted that there is something about demon weapons that is very specific, and you probably need to know a little bit more about the demons and various types of demons and whatever else. I think it's very important now that the next one is about demons. So intentional or not, the next vlog is going to be about demons, and then I'm probably going to follow that up by talking more specifically about the self-damned and the seisen. Just because, why not have that all together, so that the whole information about demons and demonic things is sort of concise and closely together and whatever else. So next vlog will be demons, following one will be the self-damned, and the one after that will be the seisen. Alright, I hope you enjoyed listening to me being fairly excitable. I hope to see you again next time. Until then, see ya!